Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Free Agents Podcast. Back here today to close out the Inferno 3 as a part of our pre-agents series. Lots to get into with the final 4/5 episodes. It's technically 5 episodes. Update our Mount Rushmore, our season rankings, and everything else that's going on here at the end of the latest season of our rewatch. My name is Matt, and I hate Tonya because she's not on this podcast. And of course, I'm here with Scally. Scally, why do you hate Tonya?
Ooh, I hate Tonya because she's not guesting on today's podcast. But good news, we have someone, dare I say, better.
Okay, why'd you take my reason? That was my reason.
Because I'm dumb and couldn't come up with another reason.
I hate Scally because no, just kidding.
Keep going.
I love our guest today because she's joining us on the podcast. Mel's back. Mel, what's up?
I am so happy to be here, and I refuse to play I Hate Tonya because I feel that looking back on the show now, I think I love Tonya.
Oh, I can't wait to dive more into that.
Just overall, just in general?
I think so. Looking back, and this is also, we're looking at this literally 20 years later. It was of a time that someone like Tonya was picked on for a lot of reasons. And I think it was very early 2000s era of the slut shaming and drink. There's a lot to it. And I think that as a culture at that time, we were all susceptible to that kind of behavior. But now looking back, I'm I don't know. She's just kind of living and enjoying it and, living her life and just trying to win some cash.
That's all she's trying to do. And she's married now. She's, things are different. And she's really just wanting to get to the end of these things and have some friends. And so far the friends part not doing so hot. Let's get through these episodes and see if she can, get to the end and maybe even pull out a win. How great would that be for Tonya? Mel, just overall though, of course we have so much to get into and eventually we're going to get to our season rankings, but just generally thumbs up, thumbs down on the season as a whole.
I hate starting on a bad note. I started positively with Tonya. Bad note though, Inferno 3 not doing it for me. Didn't do it.
You know what? Sadly have to agree, but we're going to have fun talking about it anyway. It's just, spoiler alert for at least where I'm leaning towards the end of the podcast. Probably not towards the higher end of the list. I think Scally's probably still the highest of us, but we'll see, I guess, where you landed overall.
I am just loving the rewatch so much. Sometimes when you are preparing for a podcast, it can make fun things seem like work. And I will not say that I don't occasionally think I gotta go, this is something I have to check off my list later. But as I'm watching, I'm just giddy. I've just really, really enjoyed this project. So overall, I'm high on life, Ligori, okay?
And you know what? I just love that because then I just flash back in my mind to the time when we were discussing even doing this in the first place and your skepticism about it all. And I just feel so validated.
Yeah, look, I'm always skeptical, and I would say I'm right a lot of the time.
Well, I'll take this win. I'll take this win just like one of the teams did here, and we'll talk about that team. Anyway, let's jump into it all. Of course, coming into episode 13 here, Jen was just eliminated, and we're back to the house for a party night. Not much going on here besides just, again, partying. Tanya's talking about, the aforementioned Tonya, about how she really, really wants to be locked in, but she's drinking more than she planned to, or maybe more than usual. So that's not ideal. But at the end of the day, Mel, everyone is still seemingly having a fun time during these party nights. Maybe not overall. There's some drama in the teams against one team against the other. But the party nights, we're still having fun.
The parties are great unless your names are Susie and Kara.
Well, the whole season is great unless your names are Susie or Kara.
This is very true. They are, remember how there was talk with All Stars and it was Susie will come back, but only if Sarah comes back.
Yep.
I'm starting to think please don't ever give Susie a bestie to return to the game with, because then we just end up in scenarios like what we have for this season.
I gotta sign off on the if Susie and Sarah come back, I'm down. I'm obviously.
I guess I'll take it a little bit. I'd take Sarah more than Susie, but that's a long future off here.
Sure.
But I will say that I think that now I kind of see. Remember, I told you eventually I kind of fall off the show. I feel like Inferno must have been the season where I sort of was watching and probably started to be and I know I continued on a little further, But this feels like probably where I started to feel like the strain of the franchise, maybe.
Sure.
Wasn't as fun.
No, and I think we just kind of break down the barrier of spoilers here. Obviously, if you're watching this or listening to this part of the podcast, I would imagine you have seen the episodes or you are happy to hear us talk about it all. So I think it's important to kind of track over these couple of episodes, Scally, the fact that the good guys team is not going to be victorious this season. And a lot of it has to do with the inter-team drama that we get shown here, we've got shown in the last couple parts, and we get shown all throughout these couple of episodes here. Specifically, as Mel just mentioned, Susie and Kara are not getting along with the rest of the team, and that doesn't change at any point throughout these episodes.
Yeah, not at all. It is just basically two teams on the good guys teams, and one of those teams is a very small one of Susie and Kara. It is just absolute division, bad vibes all around. It is going to create problems all the way until the final.
It's really bad. It's like the worst teamwork that you could ever imagine. And of the players that are left, we will lose one more good guy. We'll talk about Davis's elimination before we get to the final. But the rest of them, it's like a team of people that I would think I would have a lot more faith in, just knowing who they are as challengers to put their heads together and try to win. But we're in very young days of particularly Johnny Bananas. Alton, I don't know what to expect from him. He's only here every so often. Ace is a good guy, and even though he had his, debacle with Susie earlier, it doesn't seem like he's the problem. Really kind of comes down to Bananas and his defense of Paula, again, versus Susie and Kara. They're just not clicking, and they're not going to.
And additionally, and then this comes up, and it's been, I believe, even talked about before this point of episodes. By the way, these are our big 5 final episodes. Little hint to the end. But that Kara essentially is always throwing the life shield competition for Susie. And while that's great for Susie, that the life shield competitions do still matter to the team bank account. And by her intentionally being weaker in those for her friend to stay, it's negatively impacting the prize pot at the end.
Yeah. Yep. So we'll see. Maybe Kara gets eliminated before the end. No, she doesn't. But let's start talking about how we get there. Scally, the first challenge here is Captain's Chair.
Captain's Chair. We are going to have 2 captains, one on each team, selected by the opposite team. Those captains are going to have to sit in a chair and potentially get electrocuted if their team gets trivia questions wrong. Each team will be asked 10 trivia questions. Getting one correct is worth 1 point. You lose by having less points, or if your captain cannot handle the pain and gets out of the chair.
Yes, the good guys are going to pick Janelle from the badasses, and the badasses are going to pick Kara to be in the chair. A couple different ways you could perceive this strategy. I think for Kara, they're just thinking, oh, she's the weakest and most likely to tap out. And for Janelle thinks that they picked her because she's the smartest. I don't know if anyone had any objecting thoughts to why she was picked, because I would have wanted to do the same thing. I would have wanted to pick who I thought was the weakest, but that team doesn't really have weak players, so
it's tough because at first I really thought they were to go for Tonya. They keep being like, Tanya's, she's not mentally tough. She's not going to be able to do this. But I kind of look at Tonya as the most likely to do this for fun on that team as well. So I think it's a dicey pick. I wonder if Janelle, they thought like, okay, she's like, maybe she doesn't look like she does this in her spare time by any means either.
Well, we're going to get a lot of commentary during this challenge from some of the guys, because with Janelle and Kara in these chairs, as they're getting electrocuted, they're making a lot of noises. And those noises are discomfort for the way that they're getting electrocuted, but the guys are perceiving them in other ways that they would prefer to be perceiving them in. So Kenny and Bananas, and they're all commenting on that. And that's what we get here. So that's fun.
Yeah,
it's so 2006.
Yeah,
I really was taken back. Especially there's end credit scene too, where it's guys quoting Anchorman, and I forgot that there was a time where basically we only existed in conversations with Will Ferrell movie quotes. So really triggering.
Yeah. I mean, Kenny saying that Kara's making the hottest sounds, and then they're editing in moaning was crazy,
insane. Yeah, Mel, are you talking about the secret scene where Ace is like in love with Kara and talking about like stopping her from getting married?
No, there's another one actually. Which is she getting married? Because that
apparently,
yeah.
Where I felt like
so you're talking about the body shots off of the blow up doll?
Yes, which also I feel like blow up dolls aren't a thing anymore. I mean, I'm sure they still exist, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like the alleged humor of them has passed.
Yeah, I haven't been to a frat house recently, so I couldn't tell you. But
If I did, that would be very alarming. So
that's what they're giving here. Yeah, by the way, Ace in love with Kara. Like, it's not like there's little clues about that throughout these couple of episodes, but when you get to the final episode, which is not a reunion but like a clip show, he talks about it even more. I was like, where was this all season? But it was just under our noses. Anyway. Oh yeah, and then Abe makes a comment during that scene about how he's just trying to talk Kara out of her clothes. So yeah, the guys are being the boys here. These questions though were kind of crazy. They try to trick them by doing the whole who was sent home first. Mel, they both teams are going to answer Tyree. Nope, it was CT. Ha ha ha.
Oh,
got him.
This trivia was, because we always look forward to trivia because you play along and you're like, I'm smarter than them. Failed absolutely this time. I would have been shocked to death, but also
quite literally.
Did either of you think that the shocking was going to be, I don't know, like not actually happening in something else? Because it reminded me of the Stanford prison experiment, which is probably something I learned of at this exact time of life, where it was like, yeah, you pretend to shock them and they're not really, it's just a social psychological experiment.
Yeah.
But no, they
love to shock their contestants. It's no, I was expecting this.
I just was like, is this legal? But in 2006, I guess anything goes. I think that's when this was.
Also, some shady questions. How many challenges has Anissa not participated in?
We laugh so hard.
Crazy.
A little bit.
You're allowing
they try to trick them occasionally, at least with the like, how many who was the first person to be sent home. It's CT, it's not Tyree. So there's an attempt there. I did question at one point, they're like, how many trampolines were at like the trampoline challenge? I'm like, the answer was 5. Oh, I guess both teams took turns going, because at first I was like, was it 10? Because they both had, but no, they took turns. So all right, fine, they were right, not me.
Trying to play along at home and you're the one that's wrong.
Yeah.
Then at the end, the last question, they were both tied up. And by the way, neither of the captains quit. They end up having to go based on who gets the last trivia question correct. Yeah.
I'm glad, because Kara said she was only going to quit if she pooped herself. So I'm glad no one quit.
True that. Very glad. But I was surprised and I was shocked that anyone could have gotten this question wrong. The question was, which woman had won a life shield twice? And the answer, clearly Susie. Granted, I just spent the last month watching the show, but these people spent the last month living the show. And Tonya got it right. Alton got it wrong. He said Janelle.
Alton has done everything he can to get Susie out of his mind.
Literally. So
yeah. Also, there was the trivia question about the prizes, which are of course were the prizes that Susie won.
Right.
She's a center of the season.
So TJ's going to drop a bomb on them, which is that you're about to go into deliberations and get ready for a male and female Inferno coming up. So the next 2 rounds of gameplay are going to be a shield challenge for the men, and then the Inferno, and then for the women, and then the Inferno. So Scally, take us into the deliberations.
All right, the deliberations. Some of it goes easy. Like the boys on the badasses are like, it's Davis. There's no question. You have Anissa being like, well, why don't you take a bigger hit? They say you need to be in the final to win it. So there's no shot we're going against anyone but Davis. And though I will say the badass women are willing to take a bigger shot, split between Susie and Paula.
Yeah, they were having a hard time deciding on which way they wanted to go. And that's been the case for both teams at the end of the day, that people can't figure out, do I send home the stronger player if I can try to do so, or do I guarantee myself a spot? And we said in the last part that they were clearly trying to just get more people into elimination that they could beat. But now that we have the final around the corner, it's been much more of a debate in these last 2 deliberations we have.
It was funny when the women are like, we have a tie, like we can't decide, like, boys, we need you to help. Abram's like, absolutely not, make your own decision. And they're like, Tonya, what do you think? She's like, well, I'm 50-50. How do you have a tie if one of the women is 50-50? Right. Like, I don't there are 4 women here. What is this tie? I'm very confused. It feels like you made a vote or you didn't.
But Mel, I thought that Evelyn had the right idea here. She was the one, at least shown to us, saying that the idea should be to get Susie to go in because it guarantees that Susie or Paula goes. They're all saying that they think that Kara is the weakest on that team, while other people were debating, not doing Susie. So I don't know. It was like Evelyn's onto something.
No, she's smart because I think that if the scenario changed and they put Paula in, I think Paula wins the life shield. She might put in Kara, but we don't really know if she would go that way. And also Paula has done okay in individual challenges for life shields, but not as great as Susie has, which is of course partially due to Kara. So I think it was always inevitable of it would be one or the other and Kara would stick around.
Right.
I definitely think that Paula would do what the team wanted. They seem to value her the most out of the women, though I will say that's not still very much, because as they're deliberating, Alden is very clear. I wish that all of the women on our team would go home. They're all useless. I wish we had 3 more women's eliminations and every single one of them lost.
Oh yeah, we're back to all that. And I say back to as if it really ever leaves, but like we do get times in the challenge, like in these seasons that we've been covering, where like in between bursts of the misogyny, it disappears. But then when it comes back up, it comes back strong, and it's like we can't win a challenge with women on our team, but especially in this case, they hate most of the women on their team, like personally, and they want them gone as well. So yeah, Alton Bananas both on the same page that they would like every woman gone, probably not including Paula.
Is really funny because this really comes from Alton being frustrated that they won't take a bigger shot. It's like, we have to throw in Anissa because we know it's the best chance of staying. He's like, they're so worthless. Why won't they go in against Evelyn? Like, they should take Evelyn out. And they're like, Alton, who do you want to go against? He's like, well, I'm too scared of Abraham and Derek, so we got to go against Kenny. And it's like, well, so you're doing the same thing. Like, I'm confused.
Yep. The final decisions end up being that the badasses pick from the good guys, Davis and Susie, and then the good guys pick from the badasses, Derek and Anissa. So they kind of split the difference there. One trying to weaken the team and one to beat their opponent.
This comes from Ace and Bananas in particular, saying that they want to go against Derek. He has a history of choking right before the final challenge. He's lost 2 of the final men's eliminations in his, 5 appearances. So it's not a great record. He's never made a final. He's never won a challenge. So he's definitely struggling to do that. And now, unfortunately, we are coming up on another spot where he's going into that final elimination.
Yeah. Mel, the funny part about all of this is, as we already said, the badasses end up winning, and Derek will be there. We'll talk about how he gets there. But we are 13 episodes in as of this conversation right here, and Derek has come up. Maybe this is the first time. Like, there's been nothing with him this entire season. And granted, he was the replacement for CT, but there has just been so little Derek Kaczynski, this guy who we currently have on our Challenge Mount Rushmore, because we've already seen the impact that he's made on the show as a player, as a character. And now, just because we're coming up to this moment of will he choke again, now he's introduced.
As a person who doesn't love Derek as much as maybe you two do sometimes, just enjoy. He's not my fave. We all have our faves.
We all have different faves.
I mean, in one way, it's like, oh, what a relief. It's not as much, but it is like he's so core to this. And it seems like also, Matt alluded to that the top reunion special thingy that's at the end. And a lot of like Derek comes up with like hookups and stuff too and other things. So it's surprising how minimal his presence is on that team. And even in general, because I know that you did the confessional count last time, like Kenny's was not that high, but it feels like he is ever present. And I say that in a derogatory way. Like when it comes to all of it, I'm like, I actually wish it was way more Derek instead of me having to suffer through Kenny confessionals. Yeah. And he was like, for a while too, I don't know if you noticed this in the beginning of the season, he was in, I think, nearly every single end credit scene that they did. Every buzzer. Yeah.
I misspoke earlier. Derek has made 1 final, but it is really the first time, as you said, this is the real focus on him of the season. It's such a thing. He doesn't win finals. I remember back in the day, there used to be a part of the Wikipedia article that was like most appearances without winning a challenge. And for a little while, Derek was at the top of that list, especially for someone who was considered pretty good. It was like, all right, he's 5 in and he's not winning. What the hell is going on? And so I will say, as someone who Derek was my all-time favorite at one point, it was like, okay, when is he finally gonna get this win?
Did anybody catch Susie's reference in the final episode, in episode 17? She said that she was annoyed that Derek ends up getting this win because she wanted him to be the Susan Lucci of challenges. I then had to Google why that reference existed.
Oh, really? Oh, that was, and then we can't even technically use it anymore because the time I was a soap watcher at this time. Yeah, it was a very big deal as an All My Children watcher. At this peak time that eventually Susan Lucci would go on to win. So I think really maybe Susan Lucci should thank Derek because if he won, he opened the door for her to win.
18 consecutive times that Susan Lucci lost a Daytime Emmy Award, according to Google. That's 18 is a lot more than Derek's 5. But I get the point, obviously.
You know who has 18 losses? Anissa.
Oh, whoa. All right.
Because I was like, actually, in hindsight, the person I always thought of that was that person who got like always made it right to the end, always a bridesmaid, never a bride to run the final was Anissa. Anissa always ends up going right before too, which is of course funny in this one because
we're gonna get there. Does it again. Oops. But let's get to episode 14. Derek and Kenny, the guys we're talking about here, kind of opened this episode up. Derek is just hoping again that he doesn't go out before the final here. And Kenny is talking, by the way, I don't know if you guys realize this, but Kenny would have already won a challenge if not for stupid Tina and her inability to do puzzles. So.
That's not what he calls her. It is not stupid Tina. She does not get mentioned by name. He said he only lost fresh meat because the fat girl on his team, who's supposed to be a puzzle whiz, couldn't do a puzzle.
And they flashed to Tina.
Tina's tiny. She is so tiny.
It's crazy. All of them. They keep saying Anissa's fat.
Yeah.
And it's like Anissa is maybe
Anissa's,
generously 130, 140, like a normal size human being. It's awful.
Imagine being a size 4 on the challenge. They will destroy you. It is so crazy how they're talking about them all the time. Also, I don't know, Kenny, maybe you be smart and know how to solve a puzzle. Like that would be great. So yeah, Tina should have come back just to kick Kenny's ass another time. Like punch Kenny in the face, not Beth.
Literally.
He's worse.
Yeah, so only sometimes Golden Boy Ace is one of the offenders here, where in this next challenge we're about to talk about, he says that Anissa's swimming so fast it looks like there's cupcakes on the other side of the lake that she must be
It's not great. It's not great.
Not great. I would swim a lot faster if you did put cupcakes for me.
Hey, why not?
That could have just been a general.
Yeah, it could be general, not great, but
well. Whether you're swimming for cupcakes or not, this next challenge for the life shields is called Hook Me. There is a fishing boat that the guys are going to be fishing women. What? The women have to swim out as fast as they possibly can to get away from the boat, while the guys have them attached to some sort of fishing pole that they have to reel them in. No, like literally. And the fastest average time for your team is going to win. The fastest individual time will get the life shield. There is a 30-minute time limit, which people were like, surely no one's going to get that. But a couple people need it, Scally.
This is a challenge, I won't lie, that I would love to try. It seems so
It does
fun.
seem, I do think this is a very clever challenge.
I would love to try both sides personally. But I at first thought no one was going to be able to drag a person in. These are some strong ass fishing poles as the men are just reeling and reeling and reeling these women in after they are swimming away. It seems to have a little bit of a learning curve where people are not doing well. And then all of a sudden someone like Ace is like, figure out the drag of the line. I'm going to pull Anissa right in. This is no concern at all. I don't know if it was the best comment, but I did laugh when he said he deserves to go home if Davis can reel in girls faster than him, which to be fair, Davis hooked up with Tonya.
Yeah.
I don't think Ace has a hookup this season.
Well, did he? I feel like they said something in the unseen hookups. I don't remember if Ace was included in that. Now I'm double checking. But I take
he made out with Coley and Jen, and he like tried with Kara several times.
Very much so.
That tracks.
But yeah, Davis is what was a lot more featured. Wasn't just put into an unseen clips of it all. Mel, by the way, the prize here is custom rims.
20-inch rims. I screamed because again, this is so early 2000s coded of the greatest thing that a person could have.
Imagine
20-inch
like
rims.
Yeah, you're like, oh, you can play for these custom rims. You'd be like, what? Excuse me?
Huh? Do people care? I've been so proud of Matt's prize tracking. I texted that, but I need the whole audience to know that how proud I am as a prize master of this.
My apologies if I miss any.
No, and I actually like have my list, and I was going to message you to be like, can you be my second set of eyes to make sure I'm keeping track of this, because we enjoy it, and they are very much time capsules like this one.
On the topic, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, I remember when my neighbor as a child came home, and she's probably in her mid to late 50s at this point. We are children, and she comes home very excited about the spinning rims she got from Walmart.
Which was from Walmart too.
I'm pretty sure, yeah. And we were like, "Wow, that's cool!" Like, what the hell is going on?
I mean, was it really cool or was it not? It was. I'm sure
there were flames.
Yeah, I'm jealous for years back that this happened to not.
Yeah, like I was looking at the prizes that were won this season, and I noticed like Evelyn's, and I was thinking that if you just combine all of Evelyn's prizes, she could do like the most ultimate episode of the show Pimp My Ride, because she wins like rims. She won that little TV. She won a kicker car audio system. Like, just her car must have been great in 2006.
Kenny picks Susie here, where Paula is going to get a really good line in confessional. Paula says that Kenny is doing so poorly because he's never caught anything besides a cold or the clap.
She got him good.
And Kenny says, yeah, he doesn't fish. Fishing's for losers.
I
what does he do that makes him a winner?
I mean, you can't tell me that Kenny is not out on a boat sometime in the past decade more. I don't know. Fishing with, never mind. But yeah.
Yeah. The thing is that everything Kenny does is for humor. And so when he is just like glazing himself really hard, being like, I'm not bad at anything, I'm the best. When I go out on a boat, I'm not used to like fishing for chicks. They just jump right in the boat. Like, it's all a character, because then when it benefits him, it's like, I'm the least coordinated person there is. What are you talking about? I'm a joke. I'm a complete clown. So like everything's a joke. Nothing is serious. It's like, I'm the best person in the world. I'm the worst person in the world. And if you track it, you'll see both sides of it very clearly.
Yep. Plenty more on Kenny to come. He'll be with us throughout the entire season, of course. And Kenny also gives Evelyn, who does a really good job here. I don't know if he gives her this nickname, but Evolution.
Don't like it. I don't like it.
I mean, I don't know what it is. Like, are you calling her Evolution? Like, what does that mean? What does that do? I get the pun, but like, it doesn't like work long term. But
this might be the only evolution Kenny believes in. So I will say I enjoyed, not gonna lie, after Alton was talking about how useless all the girls were, that he is one of the only person to completely fail this challenge.
Yes.
So
bad season for this guy, by the way. Alton just like goes from, the captain, he's like a hero, he's the best, and then this season he's just like Banana's right hand, and he's just like being a jerk to all the girls.
I think that we're viewing it as Banana's right hand, considering
it's in reverse. Become. Yes.
Yeah, I think Bananas is firmly the number 2, if not 3, because I think Timmy was here, and it was definitely Alton and Timmy. Timmy, and then like Alton kind of steps into it, and then it honestly, is it Ace over Bananas at a point even? Unsure. So I think Alton has a fine season, and I still like Alton in general, but like, if you're gonna make a read, I'm going to need you to support that. Like, you better go all out. If you're gonna talk about how shitty someone else is doing, okay, well then let's prove it.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of the comments that the men are making about the women, Banana says that Janelle is a whole lot of girl, and that's why he is going to, I guess, give himself the credit for not doing so well, even though he does fine in this challenge. Anyway, the badasses end up getting the win. Overall, they are up now 8-6 in terms of wins in these challenges. The life shields go to Bananas and to Kenny. Kenny beats Derek by, I think they said 2 seconds.
It's like 2 or 3 seconds, yeah.
Which is crazy. Obviously, Derek is pissed. He is in the Inferno and was hoping to not have to go in and face the possibility of being eliminated right before the final again. And so there's that. And Mel, Bananas and Evelyn get the rims. So look at them go. Very happy for them. No, I'm not.
So exciting.
But Mel, what do you have on this Inferno here? Davis versus Derek. I guess the first question should be, what do you have on Davis? We haven't really had a whole lot to talk about with him. We're about to say goodbye.
So thank you for the podcast that informed me about Davis's history, because I had no idea. I'd tapped out of Real World at this point. So any rooting interest I had ended pretty quickly when I heard of his behavior on the Real World. But he seems to be like an interesting character amongst, like, we're getting to the point again where we remind ourselves everybody on this show is trash. They're like largely really terrible people that continue to get a platform.
Yep.
But I think it's been interesting for him to last, especially continuing to be sort of the easy scapegoat for eliminations. So I'm like fine with him on this specific season is my caveat. But what I didn't like in particular, I will call this out. When he joined playing I Hate Tonya when he was the one that made out with Tonya and was allegedly kind of her friend. So I hate Davis because he hated Tonya.
I don't think he had anything to add to the conversation. I think he was just there.
No, he did contribute. He said I forget
he said,
what
I hate Tonya for trying to get her boyfriend to be okay with cheating on him with me.
Oh,
something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
He
didn't have to play. You could always decline to play, and you're like, hey guys, we don't hate Tonya that much. Calm down.
Yeah, because at
we
first
love
he was
Tonya.
Like, I don't hate Tonya for any of these reasons. They're so small and insignificant. Actually, but here's why I do.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
I want a mashup of the earlier in the season clip of CT saying, "Why would I hit a gay guy?" Right next to Kenny saying that he would love to go in and kick Davis's ass.
Yeah.
Look, I don't think that's why necessarily.
I mean, I wasn't sure if it was personal or not, because I think, it's just Kenny being a jokester as he always is. But Bananas and Kenny both have these life shields. They're not going to save the guys that are going in. So Kenny is not going to take on Davis. But yeah, he said he would love to go in there and kick Davis's ass. Anyway, they're going to be playing Scally, what to me is the first somewhat version of Hall Brawl.
Yeah. We get corner ball. So it's essentially, if you're thinking, what the hell is that? Think of a hall brawl around a bend and mostly with only really one wall. So they start on opposite ends of a curved runway where they're going to have to run towards the middle, grab the ball that's at the corner, and then continue down their opponent's other side to score the point by crossing the line. Now, I would say this very quickly just becomes Derek's gonna hit Davis as hard as he can and then worry about the ball later.
Yeah, Davis had no chance at all, and that's okay. When you go up against Derek Kaczynski in a physical elimination like this, it's always going to be tough. We know that, whether it's all the way back then or today. So Davis had no chance, but he didn't give up. It wasn't just like he wasn't trying. He was trying, but it was Derek Kaczynski. So
there's people on the cast he could have beat.
I think that's what I was gonna say. Do you think if Kenny did get said chance, I don't think Kenny necessarily could beat Davis. I think it actually would be a little bit of a fairer fight.
I think Kenny wins. I think the same, like, I don't know if you want to say like animal that Kenny turned into when he had to win that last life shield and he had to like push the dog sled, and everyone was like, where the hell was this guy? I think he turns that on when he needs to. I think he's becoming a little less afraid to hurt his face.
Yeah. I think Davis might. Here's the thing. Tyrie's so bad at everything. There's a chance he just messes it up out of nowhere.
Oh, we're going all the way back.
Yeah.
There is a significant size difference there. Kind of same with Danny. Like two of the like Woats who have gone home already. I mean, I'm not going to say he beats Ace, but I think some people may theorize. Possible. I don't think so, though.
Possible. TJ gives Derek a big congratulations because he has now made it to the final. The curse has been broken. So even if he loses in this final, at least he made it there this time. So we'll see where we go with all of that. But let's say goodbye to Davis here, who does have 2 more seasons to go. But it's not going to be until 3 seasons from now that he does get a chance to come back. I don't know. I mean, I'm not surprised, that he gets a second chance just after this season, but I also don't feel like we got the most. Like his storyline this season was getting punched by CT, and then he made out with Tonya. I guess that's enough, but otherwise, I don't know.
Yeah, more than most people this season. I think that's what my gripe sort of with Inferno this season is that maybe it's because we are coming off one of the greatest storylines of challenge history, right? So how can it be topped? And now we're here, but like this season just didn't have anything sort of. I think the only storyline that was sort of consistent across the whole season was just like negatively hating Tonya and Susie, which just doesn't play out as fun. That's a bummer.
Yeah, I knew Davis came back. I hoped it was only for 1 season, so I'm curious to see when it eventually becomes 2 more. I'm glad to lose him.
Before we get into the next challenge for another life shield in episode 15, we get a scene at the top of episode 15 that is pretty important for the dynamics of what's going on this good guys team, specifically because after Susie is going to get tackled into the hot tub by Abram, you would think that she might have some support from her team and people around her. By the way, the fact that that happened in the first place, crazy. But it's no one cares. If anything else, or if nothing else, we are going to end up seeing a scene where Susie brings her clothes that got wet to Abram later on.
Can we discuss this in two parts? I would like to discuss this as the episode portrays versus as we get that bonus scene. Because
sure. So pretend you guys did not hear what I just said.
We're giving you a teaser. Pretend there's a commercial break comes up. Now we're moving on.
I feel like it's pretty common that people would have tuned out before this portion and or like, been distracted, pressed next episode on Paramount. So it was not good that Abram tackled Susie, especially I think on top of everything. But I will say when I first heard like, oh my God, Abram like threw Susie in the pool, I was like, okay, like that happens a lot on this season. So, or like in pretty much every season. It doesn't mean it's good, but I just like wasn't shocked at all. And now once you have the context of it's happened over and over and over, and like probably how aggressive was it, and it's Abram and yada yada yada, is bad. It's not good. It gets worse though. This is where I was like, it's not good.
The tormenting that they've done of Susie, I mean, go all the way back to and Susie and Kara, but like the fact that they, come into their bedrooms in the middle of the night, and they're like shaking their beds and they're like being menaces. And we're gonna see this talked about in the episode 17. Is there a good name for that? What was it called? They had a name. It was called Blaze. La 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 la.
Oh,
Blazed and Confused.
Yes.
Yeah, it was the top 10 moments from the season. When they're talking about that scene, Bananas is being Johnny Bananas, and he's like, Susie made such a big deal about it. She went to production and said that she didn't feel safe. And Susie's like very clearly stating, men came into my room while I was like, while I was asleep. Kara wasn't wearing a top, and she was worried that like her boob was going to fall out of her blanket and be on camera. And Bananas is like, oh, there's no cameras here, as if that makes it okay. So it's just like absolute insanity the way that these two have been getting treated all season. Of course, they're not completely innocent in just like the general antics of what have been going on. They have had plenty of words for the guys as well, for Tonya. So it's not like just a complete onslaught of bullying, but it's still it's just bad. It's uncomfy.
Yeah, I was just surprised that everyone was like, Susie, who threw you in the pool? I was like, people have been thrown in the pool every single day of this challenge. So I was surprised by the general reaction. Obviously, she was very upset by it. And so like you would think like that's when it's like, oh my God, I really didn't mean to upset you like that. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, that's when it should be done. So then when we get to the post-credit scene and it is then, okay, here's Susie saying like, hey, Abram, can you just please wash these for me? And he says like, yeah, sure, Susie, no problem. I was like, all right, look, see, it ended like fine. Then we find out Abram took the clothes and put them in the toilet and used the toilet brush to swirl them around, and that was how he washed them.
Yes.
So
which apparently was Banana's idea to do so.
Yeah.
But the fun part about all of this is that you get to give a little bit of credit to your guy, Ace, who comes in and apparently saved the day, took those clothes, then put them in the wash.
Look at Ace.
When nobody was looking.
He's a good guy.
That's Ace.
The hard part of this season is that I can't make fun of Ace anymore the same way.
Oh.
Because, if he went out early, carte blanche, we get to make fun of him forever, keep up his legacy. Now he lasts forever. Makes it to a final.
Look at him.
What am I supposed to do? I'm questioning my whole identity of who to make fun of on this show now.
We're all Ace boys now.
Well, I know who we can make fun of. Mel, we can make fun of Anissa.
Oh boy, can we? And we've got a long way that we're able to do it.
Let's talk about this next Life Shield challenge. It's nothing but net. And without even like setting up exactly what's going on here, I just want to get into the Anissa of it all. Okay, I guess you have to set up what's going on. They have to climb up a cargo net and swing back and forth from one side to the other, collecting 4 flags total. That locks in their time. When it comes to Anissa, she's feeling all the pressure. She doesn't feel like she can do it. I mean, look, this does feel like a pretty athletic challenge, and Anissa's never been like at the top of the list of athletes out here. She does her best, especially maybe in eliminations more than regular challenges or whatever. But here, Mel, I was watching her in this performance, and then especially to see her go on to get eliminated here, I said, this is the second closest that Anissa has ever been to winning a challenge. If she just kept going here and got that life shield, she makes it to the final. And as long as nothing goes wrong on her end, she wins the show with this team. It's crazy.
I feel like
what a change of history it could have been.
Who knows how Anissa's knee does in that final? Second closest, is it? I don't know. I feel like maybe there was at least one better. I feel like she's made at least one other final.
She made the final on, I think it was the Gauntlet, the one where the whole betting thing was going on, and the challenge, the final couldn't even be completed because after the first game, it was just one team had enough points and had won. But she was in that final, and if that hadn't been an element there, could have had a chance. This one challenge, all she had to do was lock in for one challenge. But the way that she loses this is by having like the rope on her foot that she needed to be attached to or hold on to, and she just let it go.
I mean, that's not why she loses. In my book, she loses because she was incapable of doing this. If she kept trying, she would have fallen. She swings one time and she makes it. And the rope, by the way, does have a foothold. So you're mostly stepping into it. I'm not saying this looks easy. This looks hard. As they say, you swing across. It's like swinging into a brick wall on that cargo net. It's not simple, but at the same time, when you have Abram being like, Anissa, go, which is like, Abram, I don't want to hear it until you're up here. Like, you don't know what it's like. It's like, in 3 minutes, he's going to get up there and be an absolute maniac and smash his face on purpose into the cargo net. Like, you don't get to say, Abram, it's harder than you think, because it's not. He knows, and he's excited for it. Mm-hmm. So that's the one excuse where it doesn't work. But she very clearly is just like tired, and she's slowly wiggling the rope on her foot so that she'll lose grip, and then it falls away from her, and then oops, I can't complete the challenge.
Yes, and she'll say that she didn't give up ever, and that's the Anissa way too, which is like she always says like, I'll never give up, I never quit. But I think that she finds unique ways to quit that don't seem like quits.
100%. And like, even if she didn't let go of the rope, like the moment that you sit there for 15 minutes and don't move on the net and you just wait to time out, that's still a quit. Like, not quitting would be trying to swing and falling. Like,
you could have just jumped in the water and ended it. You would have gotten 15 minutes, and at least it looked like you tried. That's what I've thought a few times about some of these challenges, where it's just like, just instead of like the one very early on when it was about the ladder, and I don't even think they had a maximum time limit. I think they just said like it was the longest time plus 2 minutes or something. I was like, so throw your ladder out the window immediately. Whoever's the longest time, which is some idiot, like, whoever continued doing it. But it's not rocket science here, but they're also not the brightest people. And, I think it's that they've given up their formative college years to be on the show instead of finishing those degrees.
It's the lying that is the most annoying part to me. Just I don't believe you believe this.
Well, she wants you to believe it, so believe it. It's going to end up being a win here for Susie and Evelyn. And how do we get there for Susie? Of course, Kara threw it. So nope. It's not just Kara that helped her get this win. Paula Walnuts herself, who is one of the handful of people that DQ in this challenge. Paula decided that she was going to help Susie just, verbally as best as she could while Susie was participating. And Paula in a confessional is like, look, I just, decided I wanted to help my team, for better or for worse, much more for worse here, because Susie getting the life shield means it's pretty likely that Paula's about to now get thrown into elimination. Mel,
it's such a bummer. And I think it's an interesting situation with the strategy of the game at all. And I know I knocked it earlier about Susie and Kara, like doing whatever to get to the end. And I think maybe it's that we just haven't really vocalized on the show, perhaps, the idea of like true alliances this way. That actually is quite smart, which is like, we'll do whatever to get each other there, regardless of it. Yep. I did for a split second think maybe the prize mattered a bit and like winning. But that's me deluding myself, because I think we all knew it was always going to be Susie bringing Kara and putting Paula into the Inferno.
This is like, it's the thing that bothers me the least about Susie and Kara. Like, every other person on this season also has alliances. You think Abram and Derek don't have an alliance? Like, there's no world. It's just so obvious.
They're both
to me.
So strong, and they're not weak women.
It's so obvious. It's very annoying when that is a complaint of like Susie is gonna, like, I understand being frustrated because you want the team to win, and Kara's not really contributing a whole lot. And I understand being frustrated even from Paula's point of view when they all sit down and try to confront Susie, like, hey, we're not going mad at you, but we're just trying to figure out like maybe who you're throwing in, because we think it's probably going to be Paula and we really hate that idea. And we really definitely think you should do Kara. It is very, very obvious. Paula crying and being like, it's just not fair. It's like, well, maybe you shouldn't have helped her win.
I don't deserve to go in. I don't deserve
no
this.
one does.
It's so wrong. Yeah,
And
literally, that's the games.
Susie mentions in the episode recap thingamajig, we're never going to get the name of it.
Blazed and confused.
Blazed and confused. I'm confused about the name and the premise of it. But she was like, yeah, if Kara said I like send me in, I would have put her in. But in another way, I guess we can view it as like Kara being like, I and this is maybe just like the way I am, and maybe I need to be like tougher and more competitive, because I feel like if I were that person at the end and I was like god awful, that I would feel so guilty going to the final. So I guess I should maybe admire Kara being like, no, I should be there. I deserve to be there, even though like she performed terribly, because their bank account, when they do split it, because I forgot that they do get whatever their bank account is, and then you get like the bonus on top of it. They got $10,000, and don't get me wrong, that's a nice chunk of change, but like $10,000 for all that time
to volunteer to go home for you, Johnny Bananas and Alton, who were being jerks to me all season, and Ace, who ran into my room and scared the life out of me and then got upset because I got upset about it. Like, no. So very much, on Susie and Kara's side and all of this, it made no sense why they were all just being so indignant. And I mean, it makes sense because we know who some of these people are, or just like the entitlement that they had, at least at this point, but it's not going to happen. Kara's not going to volunteer and Susie's not going to throw her ally in. So that's that. By the way, the badasses won that last challenge. So, some more money in their bank account. And the other note, Tonya, who had, been drinking too much lately, was projectile vomiting the night before. So she didn't even play in that challenge. She was excused from it because the doctor said that she was dehydrated, but not going to come into factor in the final. So
honestly shocked that hasn't come up more on this show before.
Yeah.
She did say, because she's like, I'm getting more stressed and then I'm drinking probably more than I should, so not ideal. I will say one other funny moment from the challenge is Kenny being like, let's not talk about it, just watch what I do, immediately falling in the water. So like good for unintentional comedy sometimes.
Yes. The Inferno here, we're of course going to see Susie taking herself out of this elimination. And of course she is going to swap Paula in, to which Bananas is going to start yelling out comments. Way to do the right thing, Susie. Yeah, good job. Like, imagine Bananas like playing, quote unquote, honorably and like doing the right thing just because of, like, come on, be so for real.
He would claim he does.
I'm sure.
The first two episodes of the season, he did feel different. And then it all changed. And then you're like, oh,
John last
season.
He is. Yeah, that was a different
John person. And like when he stepped up when Davis got hit and went to go help him. That was
else.
But also then he was like both trying to be on camera and not trying to be on camera. I did see that.
The problem is
we're seeing the future.
I don't think that Susie and Kara are badasses, but they're playing on the good guys who have a completely different viewpoint of the game than they do. Like, most of the people on this team are very like, when it's your time, it's fair, and this is how we're going to play, and we don't make a line. Like, that is kind of what they're up against, and that is a challenge. I think most people are eventually corrupted on this show and will start playing very differently, but it's just like a victim of circumstance almost with them. Not that I think that they're going to be a whole lot more popular if they ever come back, but yeah, it just is what it is. They find themselves on the outside, and that's the problem.
They didn't have Mark Long there to stifle them, to make them follow
volunteer
the rules.
himself to go home, because that's the noble thing to do when you're in the game. Well, someone else that's going home is Anissa. Anissa's out of here. She's going to be in this elimination up against Paula, which, as they point out, is a rematch from the first women's duel last season on the duel. This time in reverse. The result is in reverse. Last time Paula got sent home. This time Anissa's getting sent home. They're playing shimmy, where they have to shimmy their body up in between two walls. I don't know if either of you picked up on a height difference separating the walls any differently, or just you got the legs you got and you got to get up the wall that you got to get up. But Anissa could not get up that wall to save her life. Paula got up there as far as looked pretty quickly, and Paula got the win there pretty easily, sending Anissa home. Scally,
did they force them to do that position, or could they have done whatever they wanted? Because I'm thinking of, I don't know, did you guys do this like when you were kids in the hallway?
Yeah. I mean, how big is the hallway that we're walking through?
Like I feel like it's like standard length hallway, right? Isn't it like, is there like a default width of a hallway?
Probably. Ish.
Like, because I remember I feel like I would have done it like
maybe in
butterfly,
one
like,
arm and one leg on each side.
Yeah, and like shimmied up that. But I guess like it depends. I'm not going to go try it right now, but I am like, I keep turning to look in my hallway and be like, could I do it? And then I'm like, I'm going to die in my house if I do it. Yeah. Suddenly you just hear like the largest thud. And like, I've fallen and I can't get up.
Is without Mel as she has gone off to the doctor. Yeah.
But Anissa again was like, it felt like I'm not really trying. I'm just gonna. Yeah.
I kind of agree. I thought immediately of the height difference factor, but I don't think they're all that different for Anissa and Paula. I'll be on the lookout in the future. How do they size up height wise? But I feel like Paula was just always going to be better at this. And that just is what it is. She said she's practiced a lot at her mom's house. She had to stop though, because she was leaving too many skid marks all over the wall.
Right. Yeah.
What were those?
With her shoes.
That was a crazy way to phrase that. Because for a second I was like, did skid marks mean something else back then? Probably not. Even though she
knew what she meant immediately, but it was
meant her shoes. Funny. Yeah. For Anissa here, look, she obviously has plenty more seasons to go, but I do feel like it's noteworthy that she's not here the next 2 seasons, and then the season that she comes back for after that is the only season that she's on within the next 5 seasons. So one of the next 5 for us to get Anissa. And she's not having a ton of success here. She's making it deep into the seasons, which is kind of Anissa's MO, but then not making it to the final or just not winning. As we know, to this day, she still has not. And I hate to sound super harsh here, but just like this season was, to me, just like this is why Anissa's not a champion. I mean, granted, she had an injury, and I'm not saying like, oh, because she's always hurt or because she just always finds whatever. But it just feels like in some crucial moments, like in that Life Shield challenge, in this elimination, I'm just like, I can't even see that you want to do it. Granted, today she will fight so much harder because she does want to get that win now more than ever, to not retire, not a champion. But I'm just like, I'm not surprised that she's not been getting her win. She never goes home early again, but it's just not getting the win locked in. So
just crazy to watch this era of Anissa and be like, oh, she's going to be here for 20 more years. Like, what?
I know there's a start. Yeah, Matt already hinted, like there's a point where she does step down and takes a long break, which actually I'm very curious what she did with her life during that time point. Because I think like what's interesting with some of these people is just at this point, reality TV is not a full-time job. They're still kind of doing this for funsies. Maybe they get to go do some bar stuff, but like they do probably have jobs.
Just they were doing a lot of the appearance circuit for a while.
But then eventually this becomes you can do, like, we're going to find out Johnny Bananas. I'm going to do this.
A ways off.
And they also are filming these seasons so quickly right now. So her taking, doing one season of the next 5 is still probably like she maybe missed a year and a half of filming.
That's crazy.
Or something like that. Maybe 2. I don't know. But not a ton of time. So Anissa's gone. She's out of here, and the eliminations are now complete with Anissa and Davis both gone. It's 6-on-6 going into this final of this disheveled team of good guys. They are not on the same page. Like Scally said earlier, it's 2 teams. It's Susie and Kara versus the rest of them. And then the badasses seem to be on the same page for the most part. Doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of tension here. It does, of course, get flagged up. The main storyline here is going to be, can Derek get his win? He's on his 6th season in a row, which is pretty crazy, pretty big. He hasn't gotten the win yet. He's hoping to get it here. Going into the final, the good guys are informed by TJ that they will all be taking home $10,000 each. The badasses $15,000 each based on the money that they've already won. But $150,000 is on the line. As Scally, we're going to be playing the Big 5.
Oh, yes. The big five. This final is essentially run, do a puzzle, run, do a puzzle, run, do a puzzle, carrying every puzzle piece that you've accumulated in between each station. You're going to have to make puzzles of the big five, aka like the most dangerous animals in Africa. So definitely fun there. The puzzles are a little confusing. There's different methods of getting your puzzle pieces. You might have to swim, you might have to jump down into a little bit of a ditch, but that's the general vibe of this.
Yeah, very Animal Kingdom, Mel.
Very. What's so funny is that, like, literally, right before I watched this, like at some point during the day or the day before, I had just consumed something where it did talk about the big five. So to then see it on the finale was like, oh, I know the
Would you
big
look at
five.
that? The universe, just putting it all in front of
It's
you.
ready for me.
To tell you how not cohesive the good guys team is, Banana's confessional. He says if Kara and Susie catch on fire, he's not going to stop to pee on them. So you know that's how you operate with your teammates here. Throughout the course of this final, the badasses are going to have the lead the entire time. But honestly, Mel, this was one of the closer finals that we've seen. The good guys are within reach just about every step of the way, to the point where they don't even have to fake, like, are they going to be in the same camera shot? For a good amount of the times, they end up in that.
No, I genuinely was for a minute like, do the good guys pull this out? Because they're very good at puzzles. I know their communication skills as like a whole are not great. Except for Alden being the Johnny Bananas whisperer, which was a very interesting element to see. Tell him like he kicked it off at the challenge, which was like, hey, Johnny's gonna like yell at you guys, and you just have to ignore him because that's just what he does. So I appreciated that. I do that sometimes if I have like a bad day and I know like I'm not gonna be like social. I'll like send a message at work to be like, hey guys, I might be a little cranky today. Just a heads up. I give my Alton Bananas warning. But they're really good at the puzzles. Like they really catch up on the puzzles quickly. Yeah. And the badasses, I think, just have maybe, not to jump too far ahead, just a little bit better of maybe a final strategy to get those puzzles to the final point.
Yeah, I mean, when the pieces are falling all over the place, there's too many. They have to carry, by the way, if you're not like watching along, these pieces are like big, solid, heavy. I would estimate somewhere around like 1.5 by 1.5 feet.
Yeah, they're
like,
massive.
Wide. They're pretty big pieces. And so when they're carrying them, it's just one piece. Fine, they can do it. But as they start to have 2 pieces each and 3 pieces each, and like Derek is taking Tonya's pieces, and eventually they get a gurney that's like buried in a sand pit that they have to go down there, get the pieces, and then get the gurney out. That helps, but there's still too much weight that, as Mel's alluding to, they decide that eventually they're going to bring up some pieces and then come back for the rest, which did seem like they had to do that.
Yeah, it gets blamed a lot on Susie and Kara. They can't carry anything. Luckily, Ace is such a champ that he's making up for a lot of the slack that they're bringing to the team. But it is blamed on them very firmly. I don't think that it was entirely them. I just feel like the badasses got out to a little bit of a lead and just did a really good job of maintaining it.
Yeah,
because I mean, Tonya doesn't carry pieces either, and she's very open about it. And that might be just a source of edit, I'm sure. Since we've watched the season, I'm sure that there's a lot of confessionals of somebody complaining about it, but it's just that Kara and Susie were the easy targets to be like, it's their fault, when it's like, nah, you're all a little bit slower.
I mean, Alton's calling out Bananas for his awful attitude and yelling at everybody during the challenge. It's like, yeah, the women are the problem, but you got this guy that's like a loudmouth that's not helping anything.
What was so bizarre is it was like, yeah, we all know that Johnny yells at everyone and he's probably going to break your spirit, but just ignore him. And then later in the challenge, Alton's like, Johnny, you got to stop yelling at me. Like, he's the one that's vocalizing it. Yep. So it was really funny.
Yep. The badasses, again, are the winners of the Inferno 3. And as TJ points out, they reversed their own curse, considering the good guys won last time around. So some redemption for the badasses. But more specifically, Derek Kaczynski, finally a challenge winner. Woo! Look at him go. Gotta love it. And Abram also with his second win of a challenge.
I was so happy for Derek back in the day. But if you had asked me, like, what's Derek's first challenge win to break the streak, I would never come up with this. This does not feel like a famous Derek win. This does not feel like a Derek season at all. It is just like, oh yeah, and Derek broke a streak. Like, oh,
I thought it was, I'm not going to say the name of the season. I thought it was like a while from now that he won. For the first time. Or there's like one that sticks out for me, perhaps.
Too. Me too.
We'll connect afterwards. We won't spoil because we're not anywhere near there, and we know some of you are watching along Maybe you haven't
Me.
watched before.
I wonder if it's the same. But yeah,
okay, let's wait on air. 1, 2, 3.
No.
It doesn't stand out in my head as like this is when we break the streak. It felt like Derek the underdog sticks around for a little bit more, so I'm very interested in seeing how his story continues to play out in the next couple seasons. Like, is he still underestimated? Like, what does that look like? In that, I still had that picture in my head.
I'm just glad he finally can take a break now, because he he almost got a break this season until CT tried to break someone's face. But Derek is not going to be on the next 2 seasons, or he's back in 2 seasons. So
he's back in 2.
Yeah. But the consecutive streak here of 6 seasons in a row does come to an end after this one, but he's got his win, so he's allowed to take a break. Let me run through the whole roster here. I do that every time. Kenny will be back next season. We are obviously in the Kenny era right now. Tonya with 2 seasons left. She's still got her every other thing going on. Only 2 more.
Wow. I really felt like Tonya was a much longer presence on this show.
I mean, it does. It is a longer, maybe not like deeper. It's not like into the 20s, obviously, but like with the way that she spreads it out every other season, it does make it last longer than maybe it otherwise would have.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Abram is back in 2 seasons now that he's a 2-time winner, and obviously he sticks around. Evelyn, also, we're in our Evelyn era. By the way, funny enough, Evelyn and Kenny do every single season together from here on out. They miss the same seasons, and they do all the same seasons until they're both done on the same season.
Huh, look at that.
Janelle is back next season, and then that's it until All-Stars for Janelle.
Damn.
So, and that's all the winners. On the losers side of things, Alton has 1 more season to go before All-Stars, but that's 9 seasons away on Battle of the Seasons.
Okay.
Johnny Bananas, obviously, the story there. Scally, this is Ace's final season before All-Stars.
I'm literally devastated. We're going to have to start the rewatch over.
Or we just jump ahead to All-Stars? I don't know.
As an Ace boy, though, like, how did you genuinely feel with him lasting this long? Like, did you remember he lasted this long and made a final? Yes. Like, how did you feel?
Yeah, we're rebranding as the Free Agents. He did remember. I was very happy. Look, was Ace my all-time favorite at any point? No, but I very much enjoyed Ace. I was very happy he stuck around. I was invested in him sticking around for the entirety of this season. And you bet every single cast release day, I was like, is Ace here? Is Ace here? And I gave up on that after a couple.
Susie has 1 more season to go, which is 4 seasons away. This is the final season ever for Kara.
Not surprised.
I'm not like surprised. Honestly, sometimes I could forget that this one happened for her at all. It just feels like Gauntlet 2 is so much more iconic for her. But, a nice little run for Kara.
Yeah, she didn't marry Dave, right? She married from her season. She married it's kind of like in A League of Their Own. Yeah, normie. Like in A League of Their Own, where Marla Hooch marries that guy and then doesn't play ball anymore.
Yeah.
Nothing on her Wikipedia page about her marital status, but plenty about her Playboy run, which is what comes up by the guys in this next episode about how she was on Playboy and she was worried about her boob coming out in the challenge.
Oh,
not a great understanding there.
No. And then finally, Paula, obviously plenty more. She will be back next season, so no worries there. What do we have, Scally? What do we have on the top 10 moments episode? No reunion, but we're just going through the hits of the season in a countdown.
Yeah. Well, what do you think stands out?
We just watched all of this. Everything that we just watched.
Final. Yeah. It felt like it was like CT got voted off. Or CT got ejected from the game, and then it was and then here's what happened in the last 5 episodes. The only thing that stuck out to me was the hookups.
Most skippable episode of the challenge so far?
I mean, just about. They've done the preview episodes that, I guess you could say they're less skippable because you're meeting the cast somewhat, but I don't know. It's just clips that you're about to watch versus this is clips that you just watched. I'll give you the list though, for anyone out there. Number 10 was CT's Hit and Run, which speaks for itself. Number 9 is when the guy sat out of the grape challenge. Some comments from the cast throughout here though. Alton.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
I don't know who's ever had a better edit on television other than this man here, who is getting credit from 2 other guys on this cast, Ace and Kenny. Ace said that Alton, that his his penis wraps around to the other side of his back when he wears a Speedo. And Kenny says that if he had one like Alton does, they would have to force him to put pants on. I need proof.
I feel like it's is it out there? I don't remember.
I'll investigate.
Report back.
Number 8 is the I Hate Tonya game, which I'm surprised was the number 8, considering it was the bunch of this so much of the season.
Yeah, right. It came up multiple times.
There's so many other people I could play that game about and talk endlessly about.
Ooh.
Number 7, off air. We'll do that.
I mean, it's very obvious from this season some of the people you could talk about.
Sure. I don't know if we were getting into real life or what, but
oh no, I guess like I'm sure in real life I probably have it, but in challenge in particular,
yes.
There's plenty of better targets than. And I'll say this: I bet in 2006 I was a Tonya hater for sure. I'm looking back on it with an adult's eyes. I'm sure we were all pieces of garbage then.
Number 7 is when Susie hit Ace because Ace came into the bedroom, and Susie does say she wishes that she had hit Bananas instead of Ace.
He's also, can we talk, they brought it up too, they named it like something about the air supply or whatever.
Yes. Ace gets the air supply knocked out of him.
Yeah. Air supply, like how old is this man at this point? Because air supply, and I say this as a person that like, I love my old music. Air supply is such a very niche old reference for like the early 2000s, even that it's like, what planet are you on, sir? A special one for.
I mean, yeah, I had to
challenging
Google,
shout for Scally's heart. Intriguing choice. That's all.
Number 6, Ace goes bananas in Jurassic Park. Good title of that one. Number 5 is Rachel's meltdown, which Tonya and Janelle had some comments about the chubby civilian comment. They didn't appreciate that.
Not great. It wasn't amazing.
Number 4 was Susie's not so tough choice to send Paula into the elimination. Number 3 was Susie gets pushed too far when she got tackled into the hot tub, and we already talked about all of that with the clothes in the toilet. Number 2, Timmy's shattering goodbye, which obviously devastating, Mel.
Oh, so sad to lose Timmy.
Number 1 was Derek finally wins. You know that moment we were building the whole season up to? Will Derek finally get his win? Yes, that was the biggest moment of the season. That lasted for a couple of seconds in the final. Derek gets his win. But there were some hookups we talked about earlier. There were some interesting hookups here that get flagged up.
Yep, I've got the list if you want me to go down through them.
Give me the list.
We've got Jen and Kenny.
Jenny, yeah.
Yep. Then Ace, as mentioned before, Ace tried with Kara multiple times, which we know that she's engaged. So I guess he thought he had the charm to break up a marriage. Coley tried with everyone and they all refused.
Crazy.
That's surprising.
Yeah. Then Ace did make out with Coley and he made out with Jen.
Yes.
Okay.
Derek and Jen.
Derek's always on these lists.
Yeah.
Derek and Jody, Derek and
there was an episode where he was like, him and when Jen was like going on like a drunk rant about everybody she disliked and she was with Derek, and I was like, oh, those two are going to make out after that. Like it had that energy of like, we snuck out here, we're drunk, we're probably smoking a cigarette, and then the camera.
Like I was surprised they weren't actively making out during that conversation.
Yeah. Exactly. And the last one, which no one will fully comment on, is Janelle and Alton.
Janelle, give us the tea. Come on.
Everybody was like, it was so interesting for everybody to decline to say something about it.
Yeah.
Well, did Alton like have a girlfriend or something? Like, I'm like wondering why that would be.
I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember. He broke up with Erlon last time we saw him, so he was single then because he made out with Jody that season.
Yeah.
We also get a clip of Anissa teaching Tonya how to strip. And they say Anissa knows what she's doing, to which Susie has some great comments here about how they should go read a book or learn how to complete a full sentence before they try stripping.
Don't like Susie. I really don't like Susie.
I realized something too, which is when I was much younger, I loved Susie. And I feel like perhaps, when you watch it and you like see stuff through somebody's worldview or whatever, and you like, I think that there was that time where you're like, oh, well, I like Susie and Susie says this. And I don't, again, like, I'm sure I was probably nasty about Tonya back then too, but Susie in particular, just it's really bad. And I know that she was very religious at a certain point. So I don't know if she's still in that era of her life.
She grew up with, I believe, very Republican parents, and religious all together. And as time has gone on, has fully broken away from that, or I would say mostly broken away from that. I don't know if I could say fully, but has, to the point where she's constantly on her podcast talking about like things that her mom says that are like off colored or whatever, and she has to like get her mom on the right page and whatnot because Susie is not still a Republican. But yeah, definitely was raised in such a way.
Okay,
it comes off here for sure.
Yeah, that's good to hear. It just I'd never liked Susie at the time. It was like I understood that she was like an important character to the show, but I was always rooting against her.
Right. Well,
there is a funny Susie scene.
Which one?
Oh,
she pretends to be TJ at one of the, like, she's standing next to TJ and doing like a TJ impression of like how he would introduce a challenge. It was, comical.
She has some humor.
Always room to make fun of TJ. Susie leads the way this season in confessionals. She is number 1, 64 confessionals on the season. The next highest person is Kenny, who had 50. So 14 less confessionals for number 2 versus number 1. Like, I'm thinking back to like when The Miz was leading the way, and it was like, him and then everybody else. Susie gets that spot here. So look at her go.
Yep.
Susie, Kenny, Alton, then Bananas, then Jen, who's been eliminated for 4 episodes now. The bottom of the list of people that ended the season on the show, you have Evelyn with 28, followed by Janelle, Abram, Tonya, Paula. Surprising, at least, to see Tonya that far down.
Agreed.
Not even, I don't think she's even top half. But
that is surprising.
It seems like her team liked her this time, which is a step forward.
Or at least tolerated her.
Yeah, seemed tolerable compared to the last time we saw her in a team situation, just being completely bullied. So
yeah,
progress. They hugged her at the end.
So yeah, Susie is again number 1 there. But that's just the confessionals. Are we ready for some segments?
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh.
I'm excited, but I'm also so nervous. This is the biggest pressure when you join on the 4th episode of the pod.
No pressure at all, except for all the pressure. Let's start with the season rankings. And Scally, what are you thinking?
All right, I'm gonna open it up with can I bid bottom half?
Yeah, you could start there.
yeah. I'm good with that. So having 13 seasons in, I'm gonna say it is below the Inferno, below the Inferno 2, below the Duel, below Battle of the Sexes, below the Gauntlet 2, and below Fresh Meat.
That is exactly right for me, and we're going to keep going down a little further for me.
Now, how far would you like to bid down? Mel, do you have the spreadsheet just in case?
No. Can you?
I'm going to post it here in the chat just so you have it as we are talking.
I don't know if she'll be able to see it because I would have to share permission and all that stuff. That's a couple of things.
I feel like I will say that I feel that Matt and I are very aligned, so I can trust you here on this level. That I personally didn't love this season. Honestly, I was going to say, can you remind me just what the absolute bottom is as opposed to what's higher than it? And that's how I would judge it.
Yeah, we have season 7, the Gauntlet, is at the very bottom. Right above that is season 4, Extreme Challenge. Funny enough, another Susie season. And above that is season 2, Real World Road Rules Challenge, and no further title there. Then Battle of the Sexes 2 is above that. Battle of the Seasons, season 5 is above that. But so, Scally, what are you looking at?
I gave my bid. Where do you want to bid? But are you bottom quarter or?
I'm
3/4.
I'm at the bottom. Not like I'm not saying it's the bottom. But I'm looking at around currently Extreme Challenge or the Gauntlet, our bottom 2 seasons. I'm looking somewhere in that area.
That's my exact spot, Matt. You read my mind. When you said that it was like the original Real World Road Rules Challenge, I liked that more than I liked this.
Yeah,
I like the Inferno 3 more than I like the Gauntlet.
I think I agree. So I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I like the Inferno 3 more than I like the Extreme Challenge.
That's where I'm going to let you decide because I'm pretty indifferent on the 2 of those. I really could have put it in either direction. So if you feel strongly that Inferno 3 is better than Extreme Challenge, I'm fine with that. But do you go a step further or?
I am deciding. I'm looking through the reminders of what's going on in each. I think if I had to choose to rewatch one right now, or like in 3 months, I would probably rewatch Inferno 3 over season 2, the Real World Road Rules Challenge. But I'm open to either placement of those two.
I mean, it's tough with these early seasons because there's such a level of like nostalgia for them rather than just like watching for a season of the challenge. If I want to watch a season of the challenge, yeah, I'm going to watch the Inferno more than I'm going to watch season 2. But like the nostalgia that I'll feel watching those seasons is going to do a little bit more for me. What storylines happened on this season? Like, there's the drama between the good guys and the good guys, and there's drama between Susie, Kara, and then Tonya, the I Hate Tonya game, but like Timmy's retired. It's just like there's not good moments on this season to really point to. They just kind of got through the season, and there was drama along the way, but like when I'm trying to think back to what happens on the Inferno moment wise, I don't know where I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I don't disagree, and that's why I had been looking at this bottom 4 area for this.
Yeah. So it sounds like both Mel and I would put it below season 2. So I guess we would go there and call it a day.
Sounds good. Our third from the bottom season of the challenge right now. I'm curious how people listening feel. If you have any strong feelings, let us know. I would be curious to hear. But I think that's a fine placement for it, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, the top 2 seasons of our rewatch so far have been the Inferno 1, followed by the Inferno 2, and here we have the Inferno 3 all the way at the bottom.
Yep.
So that's
like we have nothing to quote about this in the future. There isn't like a moment where I'm like, I want to go back and watch that one. Like, even if it's just that one clip to just like, oh, let me go try to find a clip on YouTube or TikTok. There's nothing about this season that I would probably seek out again to relive it, versus even though maybe the whole season of the first ever season of Real World Road Rules Challenge is not the most thrilling of 6 episodes, I have a lot more like funny references. And the fact is I remembered that song after 30 years. So it's going to be hard to ever pass that for me.
Sure.
Yeah, if we ever do a ranking of the intros, that will be
oh god.
The Inferno 3 will not be at the bottom, but the season as a whole unfortunately is.
This season credit for me, and I know you've already discussed it. What a weird one. I don't know how to process my feelings about it, where I'm like, I'm just like, is this offensive? Like, I don't know.
I just think it's weird.
It's weird. It feels just like very off, and I don't know how to articulate it. Just I will say, typically when I watch these, if it's a good season one, I will watch the intro, even though I'm like, I could save a minute, half, but sometimes when I really like them, I'll watch it. This was like a no, skip it. I saw it once. I don't need to keep watching this. I
was watching it at least a couple times because it's so weird. It might be towards the top of my choices, honestly, from what we've seen so far. But
mine will always be Challenge 2000 for the theme song, even though it's not that good. Just that that theme song sticks in my head.
No, I'm thinking Gauntlet 2 sticks out for me, but otherwise, yeah.
Future. This is a very exciting prospect.
Mount Rushmore.
I'm so excited.
Well, of course, we'll start with the season.
All right, we'll start with the season. I'm curious if who people have as their number 1 choice.
Well, you go first.
I want Mel to go first.
Well, I think that it's clear by confessional count, and the only thing that we will probably remember from this season, and that has to be Susie for the season.
I completely agree. Susie is my number 1 pick. Lagori, do you agree?
I do.
All right. Yeah. For me, I felt like this was a good consensus. I feel Susie is the main character of this show. If there are storylines, they're about her. It might explain why I don't love this season.
Yeah, like we don't have to like them. They just happen to take over the entire presence.
Yep. So Susie firmly number 1 for me. And
yeah, she's all over the place. Just from start to finish, with the I Hate Tonya of it all, with coming in the opening confessional is like, so Kara and I are here again. We're going to work together again. It was just her season from the beginning. I thought maybe along the way we might have lost her with the amount of times that she got targeted, which again kept her as like the main character. I am just so surprised because I didn't remember this being the case, that there is a season of the challenge that Susie Meister is like the star of. I remember her, of course, as someone who has been on the challenge for the 4 seasons that she does, but I just did not remember that there was a season that featured her so heavily. So yeah, but number 1 for sure for me.
Yeah, it's funny because like star is such an interesting word. Yeah, she is featured the most prominently, but I wouldn't say it's like good. I'm not like, oh my god, remember that season where we were all rooting for Susie? Yeah, exactly. Now I feel like this is where it gets a little more interesting. I think Susie was extremely obvious, and for me, there are other picks that I feel at least one other that I feel pretty solid about, but I don't know if I am thinking that we will be in lockstep necessarily here.
I mean, I have like, my names are listed out in like a, 1, 2, 3, 4, but it's not like I feel strongly about the rest of them outside of Susie in those specific spots. So would you now like to throw out a name?
Okay, let me throw out Tonya.
Yeah, I mean, she was my number 2.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about Tonya is the fact that as we just looked at the confessional chart, she's not even in the top half. I think that's crazy. But confessionals or not, the I Hate Tonya game existed in so much of this season. And before it became a battle of Susie and Kara versus their own team, it was them versus Tonya. And we were like, well, which side is going to win out? Turns out both of them are going to go to the end of the game.
For sure. Yeah, I think that Tonya, the low confessional count is honestly shocking. I don't know if she just like checked out mentally in the back half of the season or what it was, because even if she was not necessarily delivering confessionals, so much of this was about her.
Yeah.
Plus, it never built into that payoff of Tonya versus Susie truly. So we didn't get typically what we always end up in a season is that one elimination moment that really builds up to it. But instead, they both made it. So I'm totally aligned on Tonya. She is just, an ever-present figure there that even when she's not around, you believe she's there, which just sort of speaks to why she should be on the Mount Rushmore.
And I would say we also get the scene of her and Davis that gets highlighted in such a big way. Maybe, it helps both of their stories to be amplified. But I don't know. So it's a weird season of stories.
All right. Number 3. Is this where we put Ace on?
Get out of here.
I will say, though, granted, pretty much everybody besides Susie and Tonya, I put question marks next to, because I do feel like this season, there's a lot of people there, but I just don't feel like anybody truly popped that much except for Susie and Tonya, but that's due to their rivalry.
Yeah.
I will say I have one maybe, because I feel like also it was like maybe one of the rays of positivity of the season, which is so small. I kind of think Timmy.
Okay. Timmy's a name I have on my list. I was going to throw a whole bunch of names out there. And
I mean, that's basically what we're at this point.
Yeah,
I would think, because like, I think everybody is just kind of
I have a lock at number 3. I have someone that I think is like a firm number 3 and not just like, we should discuss all these names.
Oh, let's hear.
I don't know if it'll surprise you guys, considering it sounds like you might not be in the same spot, but I have Kenny number 3.
I think it's that I begrudgingly I think it was in the back of my mind being like, I don't want to give him such honor, but it's,
I mean, we know that we're going to have to, at some point or another. That's
I will say it's not even about his other stuff. It's more that he annoys me truly so much, like more than Susie was annoying this season, but Kenny is just so ever present. But I do agree he's
just such a big presence, and we said this. I don't know if it was part 2 or part 3 that we started picking up on that, where it was like, even though his confessional count wasn't through the roof, it was still like you knew every Kenny confessional. He was doing his thing like amped up to past a 10, and he was getting to comment on just about every single challenge, have a bunch of the end of the episode clips. He had a relationship with Susie, not relationship, but had like a friendship with Susie that was highlighted a couple of times. I think he was just like the main funny guy narrator that they went to of the season, and does kind of cement into like a 3rd spot for me, unless there's major objections.
He's in my top 4.
Okay. Yeah, I'm aligned. It's the begrudging of he drives me so up the wall, but he absolutely deserves it.
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah, I hate to say Kenny deserves anything, but unless there's, we're talking about something else. But yeah, so I would put Kenny there.
He earned it this season, not deserved it. Earned
Can I
it
throw a bunch of names?
I would love a bunch of names.
All right. Can we first discuss Timmy? Because I feel like it was brought up and not gone all the way through. I think Timmy, it's his final season. He is highlighted in like a very honorable way to go home. He has his full retirement speech. He is like absolutely beloved. I don't think he has a ton of storyline, but it was at least worth consideration.
Generally, I have other people that I think are more important to the season than Timmy. I understand. I think that was a very valuable part of the season. And like, if he got this spot because I was outvoted, like I would say, okay, I get it. But overall, I think that there's other people that just, are here the entire way through, and outside of just having one moment, I think, but I get why he's brought up.
All right.
I think he gets the bench in front of the monument. I know I bring that up a lot sometimes of,
We love the bench.
oh, there's a nice bench with the little plaque and it says to Timmy Beggy, thank you.
He was my number 5 as well.
Okay.
So does not ultimately end up on my list. Can I throw out some names who maybe were gone a little earlier this season? What do you think about CT?
Go away.
No for me, dog.
I'm sorry. The punch is such a huge part of this season. When we were talking about like there's no big moments of this season, this is the main one. Like CT punching Davis in the face is the thing that gets brought up the most from this season.
I think this is like something that we've obviously gone through in the past before with like the Joe of it all. Joe ultimately doesn't make it onto the Mount Rushmore. What is who am I thinking of? Baloo also doesn't make it onto the Mount Rushmore. Like again, if we were doing like the moment of the season, I think that is probably the biggest moment of the season. But like I think of Mount Rushmore, I think obviously a little differently, the long term.
For me, the Mount Rushmore in those cases had a lot of options where I think that this season has a lot less. I'm looking at those and it's like, how do we fit Joe despite the fact that we have 6 good, like pretty decent options on that season? Or Baloo in the
I mean, that's fair, but I do see other better options.
I think Baloo had a bigger impact on her season than CT did in one episode. And I say this because there is, and I remember this is a confessional that he had many seasons ago where CT made a comment about holding your temper back because you're here and you don't want to get kicked off the show. And this is not, it's not like CT does this once. This is a pattern that's like emerging. So I don't think, if I would say if I were going to think of a CT punch that got him on the Mount Rushmore, there's other ones than this one. I think this is just his first punching somebody in the face and getting ejected.
There are more iconic.
Versus like, I'm sorry, it's more CT punching people or CT or Baloo brought a baby. I still think that's more iconic.
Totally fair. Was not on my 4 ultimately, but I think it's an argument. I don't think we're going to love this other person, but she might call us some chubby civilian girls in retaliation. What about Rachel?
It's a no for me. I mean, yeah, again, it was a very big funny moment of an elimination, but there are 12 people that make the final, that all of whom I'm looking at a lot more than any of the people that left early. Again, that's a big moment, not Mount Rushmore of the Gauntlet of the Inferno 3.
I think she has a decent story while she's here.
She got to be on all 4s running in the opening credits. That can be a reward.
That's what she gets.
Yeah, that's her prize. Sorry.
The 2 that I'm more so considering.
Who's that?
Let's say. I'll go one at a time.
Okay.
Let me throw out Alton.
Yeah, I thought about him.
About
him, still thinking about him. He's obviously present in the narration in a bad way. This is not a good season. This is a season where I don't like him very much. He's just like he's like leading the way on the good guys team, but it's just obviously all like get these women out of here, and that's just annoying.
I don't like it.
He started okay, but he was being a little bit of like a martyr. When he threw himself in, it's like I can do anything. Like I'm going to be the hero of this team, and then it was sort of steadily downhill. That said, I did have him because I felt like his presence on the season was known and powerful, regardless of how his performance started to tank towards the end.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I agree. I think that Alton stands out here. I think that he's a big name in the franchise. He held his spot and was like a leader of that team. So I definitely think of him. The other name I have is someone that wasn't around for a very long time, but had a very, very active storyline for the entire time that they were here. That's Danny.
Oh,
I knew you wouldn't expect this, but Danny
I thought you were going to say Davis.
has like
Davis is not on my list, but I thought that's where you were going to go.
I think Danny has like 8 confessionals an episode every single time he's here. It is so much Danny for while he's here. I don't know. I thought it was worth considering.
I mean, I hear you, but not quite for me.
No, I sort of, once he was gone, I forgot he was on this season. So when you said Danny, it took me a minute to recall that he was there because really like sometimes when someone leaves, you think about them, you remember them. When Danny's door was shut, I was like, see ya. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Well, Scally didn't even say the person that I have in my
I'm curious spot. You have.
I have Kara.
Interesting.
And I get why you might initially, or you or anyone might initially be like, It's one of those cases where you can kind of lump her in with Susie and be like, that's represented there. But again, the season opened up on like, hey, it's Susie and Kara, we're back and we're working together. And then every step of the way, it was Susie versus Tonya, but it was Susie and Kara versus Tonya. Kara was there just as much as Susie was, even though Susie was the main narrator. And if this was a season that had more storylines, by no means would I even be considering Kara, because again, Susie covers it all there. But because that's not the case, I feel like we did check in with her a lot throughout the season about how she was considered weaker, and so much of like the amount of times that Susie was thrown in. This happened this time that Susie had the choice of, do I save Kara or do I throw her in because of like the Paula situation? But like go back to around before that they were thinking about that, and go back to even the beginning of the game where Susie was trying to protect Kara, and Coley eventually says, well, Coley can go in because she's weak, but I'm not giving up Kara. Just the two of them as an alliance, I think, were highlighted so much in the game that for me, if this was just my list, she would be in my number 4 spot.
Okay.
I could agree with that, Matt, because I think that when we think back of the season, it is like Susie is the dominant force, but it is Susie and Kara, much like it's a CT and DM. Like you kind of couldn't have either. Like that story it wasn't like we chose one over the other for the Mount Rushmore. It's just like their package deal. And I could see it with them, especially due to the fact that there aren't really standouts from the season to really like that this 4th spot is so like up for grabs. Just goes to show there isn't a lot of power on the season that could take up a spot.
It's so funny because I think the last thing I said about Kara when we were discussing this season was, yeah, like the Gauntlet 2 is so much more of an iconic season for her, and this is like kind of nothing for me. I don't really think about Kara when it comes to this season. I think of like, it's Susie and it's Susie and it's Susie and Kara's there too. Like she is definitely a part. I think if it was only mine, I would go Alton, but I don't feel so strongly where I'm going to push hard.
Okay, well, luckily we have a tiebreaker here.
Mel.
Oh my god. So it's between Kara and Alton?
That's you.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah, nobody else was really super high up in my consideration. I mean, Scally was joking about like put Ace in. Ace was like my next highest, and no, we're not going back to it.
He was. I will say on my list of people that had specifically some had question marks
about it.
Some had question marks and some had question mark exclamation points. And I did put Timmy and Ace for both question mark exclamation points for contenders.
How would Ace versus Kara sound to you?
I mean, that's another. I mean, I think that's the other thing. Oh, that's another reason. No, I was gonna say. No, I was gonna say it's another reason, sort of maybe like Kara's driving force of the season over Alton because of her power over Ace. This is so hard. Oh my god, this is why I don't like the Mount Rushmore. It's so difficult.
I mean, when I think of to keep furthering my own pitch, when I think of like I'm envisioning screenshots of the season. I'm thinking of Susie and Kara laying out by the pool together, and just like it felt like their house.
Yeah, I'm thinking of it now that like Alton throws himself in at the beginning. After that, he's just like a very good leader. And I guess it's like, I don't know, is he like a George Washington that you just put him up there? Cause like, just steady as we go. Forefather. It's, oh my God, I hate this. Tex Chappelle.
No. Don't think what do you got?
Oh my God. This is so difficult. I think
you have 5 seconds to pick.
I think I have to go Kara. I'm sorry. Right. I'm sorry to anybody out there who disagrees. Please don't hate me.
We're all furious, but we'll move.
It's tough because I really like, and I will say, just to say who was on my list, I put 4 men and 4 women written down. Okay. Several with, as I mentioned, some had question marks, exclamation points. I will say that when I came into this, I had Alton. It was just Alton. He was first for my men. But I feel like discussing it is just like Kara and Susie.
Okay.
Kara and Susie.
Where did Kara finish? I lost the confessionals chart. But I don't think she was that far down.
No, she's not that far down. I appreciate that in the annotation for the season, it does note that Ace, Timmy, and Alton were discussed. So
yes,
of course. Like I think that they're big characters. And that it's, sometimes again, I think the little plaque sometimes is helpful. And, there's going to be a lot of places to sit and admire these Mount Rushmore. So take a look at all the benches we have, maybe a Hollywood Walk of Fame that if someone wants to give us money, we give them a star on the ground.
Let's talk about the men's Mount Rushmore. Right now we have The Miz, we have Darrell, Theo Von, and Derek. Now, I don't see a world that Derek Kaczynski comes off in the season that he just became a challenge champion. Let me know if anyone disagrees. The Miz, also, in my mind, a little unlikely to come off. But Scally, are you looking at either Darrell or Theo Von to pop out here if anyone were to?
If I were going to replace one of them, it would be Theo Von.
Yeah, same. Same. And I mean, what are we wasting time before getting into it? I am prepared to replace Theo Von.
I would like to replace.
But I don't think you and I have the same person in mind.
Interesting. I have two options.
Okay. I might have the same option as one of them. I'll say if you're thinking CT, I'm not.
I am not.
Oh, wow. Okay, good.
Oh, I was.
No, I
listen. If now you're a punch doesn't define a season, but it could get you up on the main one.
Can define a legacy.
Yeah, could define the beginning of a legacy. No, because there's been it's been a good CT, a goodish CT run, so I could understand him being there. But I'm now very curious.
CT is going to get his spot. It's
That's
just
true,
like
eventually.
It's not from punching the gay guy. But who do you have?
All right, I have two names.
Yes.
So let me start with one that we've already discussed a little bit. I'm going to say Alton.
Okay, and who's the?
I feel like Alton just has. I'm going to say first with Alton, like had a good run. I don't think that Alton's seasons by themselves have amounted to like this is the star of the season Alton, but he's been towards the top every single time. So I feel like it's been pretty consistent. He is known to be extremely competitive, and while that's not necessarily what I value in casting on the show, it is something that is going to keep you very much in the conversation. And the other person I have is unfortunately Abram.
Oh, that's not who I have.
Interesting. I'm very curious who you have.
I think you're gonna like who I have better. I got Timmy Beggy.
I would love it. I just don't know if Timmy is a top 4 name on the show.
I think, and I'm so surprised that wasn't one of your two names here. I could see the argument for Abram here as well, just because it's like a consistent presence. And honestly, he does the exact same thing that Theo does, as far as like the reason Theo's here is because he's that consistent presence. And it's not like the most exciting presence, but he's there a lot. So like, Abram, Theo Von. And so I could see that. For Timmy, it's the send-off. When you were talking about Timmy on the season, I was like, well, not necessarily this season, but I think they pretty firmly cemented his place in challenge history and his legacy on this season. Now, granted, we know he is not coming back, and so his spot is probably not going to be held on to here for much longer, like very short-lived if he's here at all. But I just think that even to just get his name in a spot there, I think given the goodbye that the show gave him, by the way, we didn't talk about this, but in that final episode, his knees bloodier than any challenger has been in a minute. They didn't show that on the episode, but 50 stitches they said that he had to get.
Wow.
I don't know. I just feel like certainly, and I could say that I would agree that Abe could also go here, like I said. But I think that the show giving Timmy this kind of like acknowledgement for what he has done felt like a Hall of Fame induction that Theo Von has never gotten. So I had Timmy.
Interesting. I just don't ever feel like Timmy was a top 4 name. As much as I love him, he is more of an ace for me than he is a like star of the franchise.
Okay. I mean,
I don't know. Mel, what do you think?
These are all very like, I want to salute Timmy because I do feel he is very important and just like a positive ray of light on the show that becomes a bit dark and has a lot of characters that are pretty seedy, pretty nasty. Like he doesn't seem to ever veer in that territory, but I do think in the like annals of time, he gets a little lost, but in the moment, like he's there. But that's why I'm like, I don't know if he's the Mount Rushmore or if he is the commemorative bench, versus I do feel that Alton is a steady leader and like in this season, again, don't get me wrong, this is when the toxic masculinity era of the challenge is back. And this is, I believe, like the season where it starts to continue like really badly for a while. Teaser alert. But I think he's like a good positive person for the most part of that I will, if he went home early in that season, the good guys would have been decimated. Like he did keep that team together at the same like flip of the coin, which is why they were like each other's rivals and pushed each other. we don't like Abram, obviously, but Abram is sort of that same leader, but just maybe like a tougher version of the coach, you know?
Yeah.
I wish I had like a sports analogy of like a tough coach, except for Bella Crowley from gymnastics, because that's what I know.
I mean,
not the
Abram's
best
just an
analogy, but, you
insane
know,
person.
yeah, he's like crazy,
exactly.
but
and
his track
sorry.
record's great, right?
Yeah, this
Yes.
is his second win, which is obviously, pretty big for, those keeping track of that kind of score. But him, like, I think back to like his fights with like the Miz, not fights, but like, the play wrestling and stuff. And just like those big moments of like, they made moments out of all of that. And the Miz has been gone for how long now? Abe kind of reemerging on the scene here and getting back into it. He's always a big presence. People are always intimidated of going against him. He's a leader on his own team, not in the way of like, hey guys, let's work together, but like, when he goes into that elimination saying like, I don't want them to see that me or Derek are afraid of going in, like he is in his crazy Abram way, also some semblance of a leader. So
yeah.
I mean, if we're not agreeing on Timmy, I can agree on Abe. I can't agree on Alton, unfortunately.
Yeah, I do think
but
Abram, when you just brought it up, Matt, too, like him and Coral were such a big part of the show years ago, and it didn't define it then, but just looking back at like a larger legacy as he continues to stack seasons up.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense that he could be up there.
Yeah, I don't want it to be. I never came into this project thinking like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to deal with when Abram gets onto the Mount Rushmore. And now I'm kind of at the point with like, wow, I need to deal with the fact that I think Abram's on the Mount Rushmore and I don't like it. But
he's a really big part of the show, and
a lot more correct
than
Theo Von for me right now.
Yeah.
I really thought you were going to want the Timmy.
I want it. But trust me. No. I would have been coming here like, so Ace on the all time? Ace? Everybody Ace?
I mean, especially because I was like, Timmy's going to be there for one season and then bounce off. So I was like, yeah, it's never going to happen again if it's not now.
And I think it's not now. So unfortunately, it's never going to happen.
Okay. Well,
I'm sad. I love Timmy.
That's okay. We'll have some kind of honorary mention for him somewhere else.
I just don't think it's accurate. So I have to.
He's not even on an individual season Mount Rushmore.
Nope. Timmy is, like I said, he is more of an ace, where I think that he is like a fun, lovable character that I will be like, oh my god, I can't wait until we do the rewatch of the rewatch and get to Ace and Timmy again. I need Timmy on All Stars. I pray Abram never shows up on All Stars, but I think Abram was more important to the show than Timmy was at this point.
I mean, just by purely number of seasons, this was Abram's 5th season. It was Alton's 3rd season and Timmy's 4th season. So Abram has them beaten numbers, and again, 2 wins. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yep.
I think that makes sense. I guess, unfortunately, on the women's side of things, we currently have Beth, DM, Coral, and Veronica. I think I know where Scally wants to go with this. I just don't know. I don't know where and how. So would you like to share?
I know. For me, I will be arguing that Tonya should reclaim the spot that was always hers. I think DM should go.
You would like to kick DM off in favor of Tonya right now.
For anyone who does not have it memorized, the other options right now, the Mount Rushmore as it stands, are Coral, Veronica, Beth, and DM. I think there is no world in which I kick the other 3 off. I think they are way too important to challenge history and even the current meta of the challenge for most of them. I think DM, a cute showing, great for DM.
Okay, but I mean, let me just say this: Tonya. I'm okay with the idea of Tonya going on, but I'm not ready to swap out DM just yet on initial instinct. You say that the rest of them are too important to challenge history. So are we just never getting rid of them? Are we never getting rid of the Miz?
No.
Are we never getting rid of?
Because I personally, I'm aligned with Matt here. I think
at a certain point, they have to come off if they're not contributing to what we're kind of assessing as the current, Mount Rushmore of the show, even if they were a legend in the past of the show, not right now.
Yeah, but the Mount Rushmore for me is so when people talk about the Mount Rushmore, the Mount Rushmore of Survivor is it's Parvati and Rob, and it's well, are Parvati and Rob the Mount Rushmore of right now? No, but we're never replacing them. You need to do a lot in order to earn the spot for me. And so do I think that there is a potential of Beth, Coral, or Veronica ever falling off? Absolutely, and I know that they will, as some of them at the very least. But I do not look at this as a flavor of the month. This is not who are the 4 most important people right now. It is have you done enough to usurp any of these people's spots? And I didn't think that Tonya should have been usurped in the first place.
Okay. I mean, I will say if it was me, I would not be swapping her out with DM here.
Who would
but
you be?
I'm just gonna say this before I go further. I'm gonna approve it because I get
Okay.
where you're coming from, and because I know you want this really bad, and you usually like give up when you don't care really like a lot, but like I know you want this one. When it comes down to it, I think that there's a good chance that DM could get back on at some point. I don't know when or what, but like I still think the DM pick made sense for when we added her. I mean, like looking at this group right now, Beth, Tonya, Coral, Veronica, yeah, like for an overall for the whole series, that's a good group of names. But I do think right now Veronica has been MIA, and I think I would have swapped her out.
I agree.
We have such different philosophies on what this is. I think it's
I also would replace. My opinion is, and this is for me, personal takes. I feel that DM's presence of the challenge is legacy of the challenge. This is just my personal take on it. I feel like I would have a very hard time ever replacing DM. I just think she brought something to the show in a storyline perspective that's really hard to touch ever, of like legacy, inspiring, death, love. Like there's a lot to her, and I know like a lot of that's to come. So for me personally, I think she's an untouchable spot for me. Veronica has been MIA. I think she
gets back there at some point.
I think Veronica is if you were to say to people, who should we bring back to All Stars? No one's saying Beth. Beth's going to show up. Nobody's saying Beth, but they say Tonya. And so personally, I don't consider Beth like synonymous with the challenge. I think of just like Beth as like, it's Beth, but I think of Tonya as the challenge. And I think that for me personally, I would replace Beth. I could be down with Veronica, but I personally would replace Beth.
So Scally, just looking ahead, so I hear you when you say that you are down for, some of these other names to fall off at some point. Just like right now, who would be the soonest? Which of these three names do you see yourself being okay with letting go of soonest? Is it Beth?
Beth.
Huh.
Yeah.
But you can see a world that it's like maybe two of them, maybe three of them fall off.
Yes. In a world, again, I think that we have different philosophies, and so there have been times at which we have argued on Fresh Meat, but I'm like, LaGoria, I'm scared we're gonna argue.
Well, that's why I'm not today. I mean, because again, I would have probably swapped Tonya out with Veronica, but like you said, we're kind of viewing this a little differently. So, it's a matter of meeting in the middle sometimes.
I'm curious. If people listening have like strong viewpoints, like do you align more with LaGoria or with me, or a secret third thing? Because again, for me, I am looking this very much as when we talk about Survivor, just because that is, I think, the easiest one that a lot of people discuss all the time, of who is the Survivor Mount Rushmore. It is not like, oh, well, Dee's back for season 50, so she's clearly very important right now. So that's how I view it.
It's also like the visual of like what we're looking at. It's like, well, Veronica has spent, what is it now? 10 seasons, or it's either 9 or 10 seasons on the Mount Rushmore. I'm like, well, if that's it, because she's not back anymore, then I think that is a good run for her whenever the Mrs. run comes to an end, which doesn't feel like it'll be anytime soon, but like when it does, if it does, it's going to have been a good run, but that doesn't mean that he's not still on some semblance of like the all-time legends of the show. So I don't know.
It's complicated. I do think people will fall off. Again, for me, I think that you need to beat the person's legacy at least where their legacy has like faded enough from view. And I just don't think that a Coral or a Veronica, and like because Beth has been on recently, like I don't think that they've faded from view yet.
Well, like I said, I don't think DM will be gone for long from this list. I don't know if it's like next season that she pops back on. I don't remember what happens next season. But just knowing, of course, what her overall arc is on the show, I don't know, that's a bad way to put it, but just like everything that is DM on the challenge, tells me that she will be back at some point. But I get it for now. There's limited spots, and you've been wanting Tonya here. And I think, not just because you've been wanting her, but I think she's earned her spot here. She has been, a steady presence on the show that is always, at the front of the action. So
it is just, for me, if I were to have to name, okay, up until the challenge we watch now, 4 women, name them. Like, these are the 4 I come up with. Katie Doyle is the closest for me still as to like who is the next most relevant. And just like in terms of what they've done on the show, and the men's looks, I think, like this as well.
All right.
Like, this is who I would name first 4 men.
Let me just read it all back. And Mel, final takes here of the Mount Rushmore. We have on the men's side, The Miz, Darrell, Abram, and Derek. And then on the women's side, Beth, Tonya, Coral, and Veronica.
I'll allow it for now because I love Tonya. But if DM's not back on there down the line, I'm upset. To me, here's the deal. They literally did a DM memorial challenge. Like, her legacy of the show to me is just, and again, I watched this at a formative age of life. Like, I am a woman. Like, there's a lot of stuff that probably is like parasocially attaching to like a DM sort of thing. But to me, I view DM like, honestly, like as a deity of the show, like there's just something very special about,
and we'll get there.
Her. Yeah. But I think Tonya is such a star and deserves to be there. And I think it's just that, I'm anti-Beth and I always will be.
And as to the like, oh, would you want Tonya on All Stars or would you want Beth on All Star? I think when All Stars 1 happened, first of all, we all knew that Tonya was never coming back. But
I think
also,
that's
like,
the issue. Like,
people did want Beth
back.
People did. People
Kelly,
still want Beth on House of Villains. Were they the
bots that you paid for? Asking for Beth to be cast
if
on
you
the
think
show?
I am the Beth stan, then we have a problem. Mel's never coming back. Congratulations.
Oh my God. Can we look ahead to the Gauntlet 3 a little bit here?
Ooh, please do.
33 contestants up from 21 this season. That's a big jump. Very big difference as well. 10 episodes next season, because they are 43 minutes each. We are out of our 21-minute episode era into 43 minutes.
Oh my God, that's so sad.
I do anticipate that we'll be still on a similar pace, though. Probably around like 2 episodes per part, considering the time of the length of the episodes added up all together. But just, make sure you're here when we get into the Gauntlet, and we'll have figured it all out and come along for the ride with us. I'm excited. Of course, I like to run down who is back, and I know there's 33 names, but I'm going to do it real quick. Beth is back. Bigger than that, though. Sorry. Coral Smith is back. Next.
Coral's back?
Coral is back.
I forgot.
Final season.
Thank God.
Protecting that legacy, baby.
That's going to be a lot to get into. Katie is back. CT, Brad, Robin, Adam King after 3 seasons away. Frank from Vegas after 5 seasons away. MJ and Jillian after 3 seasons away. Big Easy, Johanna, DM is back. Casey Cooper, Danny, Ryan Kehoe, Evelyn, Kenny, Evan, Melinda, Nehemiah, Johnny Bananas, Tyler, and Paula. A lot of Key West. They're in the mix right now. Tyree, Janelle, Rachel Scally is back. Rachel Moyle. And then we have a couple of debuts.
For the record, I'm not a Rachel fan.
Well, you seem to be. I will say, of the debuts, I don't know if you two are looking at the list right now. The only name that I truly recognize or that like means anything to me is Tori Hall. Brooke,
Crazy.
Zach, Derek, Alex, Angel, not really ringing many bells.
I care about these people too much.
Perfect. Balance out.
Especially like some of them are really just like niche challenge legends in my brain.
Yeah. Mel, any exciting ones there besides obviously Coral and or the debuts or anything?
One of the debuts name popped to me, but I'm trying to remember what specifically, but I feel like I know some stuff, or at least that they love to drink, which is, always helpful on this show. But what a group of heavy hitters. I'm very excited for Gauntlet 3.
Who is the what?
Who was the name that you were excited for, Mel?
Oh, no, I wouldn't say like, I think maybe excited is the wrong word. Would be Brooke. I remember.
Oh, boy, Brooke. I am interested to see what comes.
Yes. If I recall, I feel like maybe a human disaster. I can't recall totally, but
yeah.
And I'm trying to remember if I'm thinking of like Real World or if I'm thinking of the challenge. By this point though, probably, yeah. Because I think by this point, I'm fully tapped out, if not maybe like lightly dabbling. What Real World is she from?
Denver.
Yeah. So like, I remember I went to the Real World Denver house on like a road trip. Not like that was just like, we were in Denver. We're like, let's go find it. So I think this is kind of, I'd say this was probably when I wrapped up my Real World watching. I was like, I graduated college. I was a grown up now. I could still apply to the show. I didn't do it. So then I moved on.
3 people here from Road Rules 2007 Viewers Revenge.
Woo! What a niche, weird little season.
Oh, I forgot about that season too. That was like, I think the one Road Rule season I didn't see actually.
Oh, there are some weird picks that end up getting brought over to the challenge, and I enjoy them for what they were. They're interesting characters.
I'm excited, very excited to get there and see what is in store for us. Again, obviously this season wasn't like the most exciting for, at least for me, went to the bottom of our rankings. So I guess overall, but hopefully the Gauntlet 3 bounces us back, a bigger cast, a lot more room for craziness to occur. So we'll see how that all goes. Mel, thank you for joining us. Of course, as always, where can everybody find you online?
Well, thank you again. I have a blast and I really appreciate whenever I can get to join you all. So thank you again. And, I appreciate it. I've found a bunch of people from the pod have followed me on Letterboxd. So, follow me on Letterboxd. I think that's more exciting than, my usual. I'm at Mel Got Served on Letterboxd and everywhere else. So follow me. I feel like that's more fun sometimes than the other stuff. Unless you're watching Singles Inferno, then definitely reach out to me on social media so we could talk about it.
Scally's also on Letterboxd. So that's probably where he's going to direct you all.
That is true. Brian_Scally on Letterboxd and Twitter. Everything else will be going on from there. Also guesting on, I don't know when it's coming out, the Swifty Boys talking about Taylor Swift album Evermore. So we'll see how that goes. And yeah,
check out the Swifty Boys. Of course, friend of the pod, Matt Gagan, his latest project with Brendan over after finishing Gossip Girl. The next best thing, of course, is Taylor Swift. So check that out for sure. And then check me out on the Diary Room podcast, talking all things Big Brother. Very, very close to the end of the round. Only a couple of episodes left for round 1. So check that out for sure. Otherwise, we're over here in real time, if you're listening to this as we're releasing it, talking about The Traitors about halfway through the season of The Traitors US season 4, with all of our coverage on the episode recaps. Plus, we're talking to some fun guests along the way on YouTube. If you have not already, we would so appreciate if you could go over to YouTube. Just look for us, the Free Agents Podcast on YouTube, and hit that subscribe button. Really would appreciate it, as we have kind of just started that channel. We'll see where else it goes from here. But that's going to do it for today. Look for all of our social media links in the episode description below. And of course, find us on Patreon, patreon.com/The Free Agents Podcast, for everything else that we have going on, all of our bonus episodes each week. Again, in real time, the Challenge 42 cast is about to go film. And so that means that we will have all of our previewing going on, including our draft when the time comes. And that is all going to be only on Patreon for the time being. Goes out on the main feed later, closer to when the season airs. So probably sometime this summer. But we'll be back very soon next week with the Gauntlet 3, and very excited to get into all of that. Thank you again, Mel, for joining us today. Until next time, take care, and we hope to see you all in the future.